Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another day of the NBA or the X Factor Daily NBA show. Today, I'm joined by both of my co-hosts, Troy and Fred. Four games on last night, so not a whole lot to cover. We can kind of break into it a little bit more tonight, though. First game, let's get right into it. Dallas versus Brooklyn. We saw Dallas come out on top, 129 to 125 in overtime. And I'm glad I have both of you on today because in our Eastern standings before the season, in that video, go check out that video if you haven't already. You both had the Nets finishing number 4. So I want to know what you guys have seen out of Brooklyn up to this point, and if you're a little nervous about your predictions.
Brett, you're more than happy to take that one.
I'm very nervous, man. I mean, it's again outside of KD and Kyrie, it's nothing, man. Ben Simmons is awful. I mean, he is just not there. I mean, I hope he gets going after 15, 20 games, gets back into a basketball rhythm. I mean, he hasn't played in a long time, but man, I'm not really looking forward to watching anybody but the big two out there in Brooklyn because everybody else stinks right now.
Yeah, to be honest, the Nets are nothing of what I thought they were going to be. If I'm just going to be blunt, I thought they would get a little bit more production from guys like Patty Mills, even Royce O'Neal. They gave up a first-round pick for him. I would suspect they expected a little bit more than just 10 a night. But whatever. Ben Simmons, he has to pick up his load, or this team's going to be terrible.
Yeah, you mentioned Ben Simmons. If you watch that game, they tried to get him going on very early. And then quickly it just kind of goes away. And as the game went on and the game really got down to it where it mattered, he was just literally running down from block to block. Like that was it. That was his whole. He's not involved in this offense at all. I think it's safe to say that Ben Simmons with these two stars, it's just I don't think it's going to work out at all. If we look at the stats, Kevin Durant 37, Kyrie 39, 76 points again last night combined between the two. Royce O'Neal with 10 and David Duke Jr. off the bench with 10. Everybody else under double digits.
Just look at the field goal. The field goals taken.
Yeah.
I mean, they're outpacing everybody by a long shot.
Yeah. And then if we look over on Dallas's side, another great game from Luka, 41, 11, and 14, 3 steals. Had a couple key turnovers that I thought were going to cost them the game late. But they were able to come out on top. Alongside him, Maxi Kleber with 15, Tim Hardaway Jr. with 18. Tim Hardaway Jr. is looking really, really good. I'm glad to see him back in top shape. Josh Green also 13 minutes, 10 points. I thought he played a big factor as well. But yeah, overtime thriller in that one. The Mavericks able to just get the victory late in the overtime, hitting I think 3 possessions in a row off Luka assist to pick up the victory there. Moving on, the Thunder beat the Clippers yet again, 118 to 110. Paul George played last night, only 10 points. Norman Powell with 21, Reggie Jackson with 18. John Wall off the bench had 17. He looks pretty good. And then for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shea with 24, 5 and 6, another good game. Lou Dort with 21, Pokashevsky with 15. Should we be freaking out about the Clippers? Is it too soon?
I think the biggest concern for me is Kawhi's 15 months removed from the ACL injury, and there's still no sign of health of him being able to play consecutive games. Like he already needs 2 days off back to back. Now, granted, maybe it was because they were playing the Thunder and they thought their guys could get the job done, and they were just like, here, we'll just load manage him at this game. But I think that's the biggest concern for me is that Kawhi still doesn't seem to be 100% healthy.
Right.
Even 15 months removed. It's a typical 8 to 10 month, healing process. And he's at 15 months. So you'd expect that to not be as significant, but it is.
Yeah. I mean, I still think this team's capable of being a top 4 seed without Kawhi. I mean, you see how deep this team is and how good Paul George is by himself. I mean, I think they have the ability to still make noise without Kawhi. Troy seems to disagree.
I don't agree with that.
It's interesting because it's like when they first announced right before opening night that Kawhi was going to be coming off the bench, I honestly was like, that's maybe a smart idea, like let him work his way back into it. But then it was like he wasn't playing very many minutes. Now he's not playing back to backs.
Yeah,
it's
if
just
you're
like
come off the bench, you would think you'd have some sort of like, dude, he wouldn't play the entire first quarter, then wouldn't play till like 8 minutes left in the second quarter. It's like He was sitting for 14 straight minutes.
Yeah, it's odd to me, and I just feel like the Clippers kind of seem, and I could, this is just speculating because it's like they don't play all their stars that often, which I understand it's injuries, but it's like you guys still have a lot to prove. This is like year 5 of Kawhi and Paul George. You've gotten to the conference finals once, and it's like other than that, you haven't proven anything. Like this is a year where everybody's high on you. Prove that like you're worth the hype. I just think up to this point they haven't proven anything yet, and they act like they have. And we see where it's gotten them, struggling early on.
Clippers, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, there we have it. The Thunder once again upsetting the Clippers 118-110. Moving out west, the Golden State Warriors took on the Miami Heat. They came out on top 123-110. Fred, what stood out to you about this game?
Defense looked a lot better for Golden State. I thought they played a lot better defense. And Steph Curry just continues to be him. My big question mark is, when is Klay Thompson going to get back, into his groove and start being more consistent? Even towards the end of last year, I didn't see a lot of it. I don't know if they're just if he's going to end up getting phased out, or what's going to happen, or if he can still be that superstar level player. That is yet to be seen. And Jordan Poole is still just an absolute menace off the bench. I know 11 points, on 7 shots yesterday, but I mean, he controls the ball so well. And I love seeing James Wiseman play basketball. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for the Warriors, as you said, Steph Curry with 33, 7, and 9. I was a little hard on Klay Thompson the other night. He came out, had a better game, I guess, 19 points. Andrew Wiggins once again with 18 and 10.
It's just that 6 of 19 shooting for me with Klay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Very, very off.
And for the Heat side, Troy, I want to ask you, is it too early to start freaking out about the Heat?
For me, it's not a surprise. I predicted this team to be the 9th team in the East. I did not like this team coming into the year. Fred was really hard on them. I believe 2 years ago, he was like, where did they get better? And that was his stickler with a lot of teams. Like, where did they get better? And I just didn't see that from the Heat. They were in this game for majority of the game. But then the Warriors I think the story's the Warriors more so than the Heat personally. I just think they go on runs where every other team in the league, they can't answer them. They just can't. Like, if they lock in defensively, get about 2 good minutes out of Klay, Draymond, and all them boys locking in, and they can hold you dry, and then Steph goes on one of his runs, oh, boy. They can pour 9 to 12 points on you in a blink, and you are like, wow, and the game's completely flipped.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler with a great game, though. 27, 6, 8, and 6 steals. Bam Adebayo had 26 and 8, 4 steals and 3 blocks. So the defense was definitely there for the Heat, like it usually always is. But I mean, as it comes down to the Warriors are just such a good offensive team. So they get the victory there in the end. And then the last game of the night last night, the Memphis Grizzlies came out on top in Sacramento, 125-110. Troy, you were very, very high on this Kings team. They are 0-4, 0-5.
They're 0-4.
0-4 up to this point. What have you seen out of this Kings team what were you expecting to see out of this Kings team, and what have you seen out of this Kings team?
I was expecting Domantas Sabonis to be an all-star. I was expecting him to be an all-NBA caliber player, and he is not. And that's where he looks so uncomfortable with the ball in his hands, like he like spazzes out. I've watched a lot of the Kings games. Obviously, last night they were blacked out, so I couldn't watch them. But leading up to this, I was just so surprised that he looks like he had a pretty good game on the box score, but 6 shot attempts for Sabonis, that just doesn't really.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a recipe for success for the Kings, because you need him to kind of be a guy for them, and he just isn't yet. I think it still can happen, but
yeah,
it's I'd be worried.
It's like there's a lot of new pieces to this team that, like, I mean, even Sabonis probably isn't super comfortable yet in this, in this offense, especially with the new coach. You've got Keegan Murray playing key minutes, Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, guys like this coming, I think it's going to take some time. So I wouldn't write off the Kings just yet, but I am starting to think maybe the Kings are just cursed forever. And then on the Grizzlies side, really quickly, De'Aaron Fox with 27, 6, and 2. And then Sabonis had 11, 11, and 9. Keegan Murray with 18 and 6. Grizzlies side, Fred, you seem to be pretty high on this Grizzlies team. Desmond Bane with another great night, 31, 6, and 4. Is he a reliable number 2?
Absolutely. I mean, he's one of the top shooters in the NBA. I mean, he's so consistent. He always, he's going to shoot in that 50% range from 3, I think, this year. I mean, this dude just absolutely fills it up. but he also can prove that he can take it off the bounce too. I think he's definitely more than just a spot up guy. And I think he complements Josh so well, a guy who wants to put his head down and go to the rim. Having a guy like that's huge. And they're still even missing Triple J. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. hasn't played for this team yet. And they're looking so hot. They're so deep. Their bench is great. Brandon Clark has been, I think, really well complimented off the bench. And then is it Tyus or Trey? Tyus on the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Tyus. They're both from Duke. Don't really, but I think he's looked great off the bench. He's another reliable guy. So this Grizzly team, I just think is complete, and they're also missing in my opinion, a first team all defensive guy in Jaren Jackson Jr. So once he comes back, whenever he comes back, I think it's going to be even more. This team could easily be a 1, 2, or 3 seed in my opinion.
Yeah, John Morant had a solid game as well, 22, 5, and 6. But if you look at their bench, 4 guys played big minutes for them. Jake LaRavia had 13, Tyus Jones had 14, Brandon Clark had 16, David Roddy had 2, 3, and 1. But it just shows like these guys have guys that are willing to step up at any moment and play big minutes. I think this Grizzlies team is just they're so gritty. They're such a tough team to face, and I see them making a whole lot of noise again. I just hope that it can translate into the offseason this year.
Wish we could watch them.
Yeah, for sure. So that's all the games from last night. If we take a look, another busy night here in the NBA. Good night to sit down, relax, watch some NBA before the Halloween activities pick up. So we'll start off here. 7:00. The Atlanta Hawks take on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons 1-4, Hawks 3-1. Who do you guys got coming out tonight?
I'm gonna go with the Pistons. Personally, I think that this is their second game of their soccer. Or no. They lost the last time. I got the Hawks. Who am I kidding? They're not losing back to back against the Pistons. Wait, who won the first matchup? What am I looking at?
The Hawks won.
Okay, Pistons. I'm not crazy. I thought I was going crazy. Pistons win.
Fred?
I like the Hawks. I like the Hawks defense. I think they swarm those young kids and they get a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Hawks. I really want the Pistons to come out on top, but I think they really started to focus in on Cade at the end of that last game. So give me the Hawks there. Also at 7:00, the Magic, who have still yet to win, going up against the Charlotte Hornets. Who do we have coming out?
Real teams are winless right now.
What's that?
I said the real teams are winless.
Yeah. Fred, who you have?
I like the Magic here. I think Paulo goes big, and they continue. I think they continue to grow, and they build off this and actually get a win on this one because I think they've played really well so far. Just haven't been able to pull out a dub.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to see a big night out of Paulo. I don't think they really have anybody that can match up with it. PJ Washington maybe, but it's like I just think Paulo is that guy so far from what we've seen. 7:30. This is going to be a great game. I wish it wasn't blacked out for us. The Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Boston Celtics, 2 of the best teams in the East right now from what we've seen. Give me the Cavaliers to come out on top. I think those 2 big men with their defense are going to protect the rim, and it's going to come down to shooting. And I just think when it comes down to it, I want the Cavs here.
I'm going with the Celtics.
I'm also go Boston. I like Jason Tatum. I think he's at an all NBA MVP level right now, and I think he just continues to rise.
7:30 as well. The 76ers take on the Raptors yet again. We saw the Raptors come out on top, had control of that game pretty much the whole time. I'm going to go Raptors again. I think the Raptors are very, very good. And I just think there's so many questions with the 76ers team that we're not going to find out yet. So, Troy?
Raptors.
Fred?
I go Philly here. I think Joel Embiid goes big.
I like it. Another 7:30 game. The 1-4 Indiana Pacers against the sneaky Washington Wizards at 3-1. Give me the Washington Wizards. I said it the other night. I think the Wizards are a team full of okay. And the Pacers, other than those 2 young guys and Buddy Hield shooting lights out, we haven't really seen anything much lately. So I'll take the Wizards there. Fred, where are you going?
I'm gonna go Wizards as well. I like what they've done collectively as a unit. I'm still waiting for that big breakout Bradley Beal game, and it could even be tonight against the weak defending Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, Bradley Beal hasn't looked himself this year. I'm rolling with the Pacers.
I like it. 8:00, the Knicks 3-1 take on the still undefeated Milwaukee Bucks. Troy.
Oh, they're keeping that happy train rolling. The Milwaukee Bucks, best team in the league. I'm rolling with the Bucks.
Fred?
Even without Middleton, they're the best team.
I think the Knicks have a big statement game here. I think they get the win on the road and keep this momentum going and stay hot.
Said it the other night. I'm not going to bet against the Bucks and Giannis until I feel very confident about a team, and I just don't feel very confident about the Knicks matching up with him. We'll go Bucks there for me as well. Speaking of winless teams, the 0-4 Los Angeles Lakers go up against the 3-2 Minnesota Timberwolves, which this is a very interesting game for me. I'm going to go out of my way to watch this. Troy, let's hear it.
Yeah, so the Lakers are going to bring Russell Westbrook off the bench. It seems to be for the foreseeable future. Anthony Davis is questionable coming into tonight. Another back injury, I reckon, hanging on that rim too long. He hurt his back. I'm just sick and tired of the excuses out of this bunch. You knew what you had coming into the year. You knew the monkey and the pressure that was going to be on your back and put on you guys coming into the year off of last year. You're the Lakers. You have to figure it out. You should have expected that. Anthony Davis was supposed to take all this, leading up to the season with all these interviews. He was talking this big game about how he was going to be the guy. He was going to do this and that and the third. His body is so rested, so prepared, so this, so that. We're in game 4. You're hurt again. You've been hurt all year. You've been hurt during the preseason. I'm tired of the excuses. You need to buck up and be a guy. Be the dude that you're supposed to be. Be a top 5 NBA player because you ain't showing it. You haven't been showing it. He just disappears late in the game. I don't know if it's him just getting sore, getting hurt throughout the game, and then by the end of the game, he doesn't want the ball in his hands. He doesn't want to make the plays because he's great in the first half. Dude's a star in the first half, and then in the third and fourth quarter, he goes awry. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm rolling with the Timberwolves.
Fred?
Yeah, I think the Lakers are just in a really bad spot. Their roster is just not doing it for me, so I'm going to go Timberwolves as well.
Yeah,
Caleb, if you watch this game, just real quick nugget for you.
Yeah.
Keep a mental note because I do it too. How many times it looks like Anthony Davis is on borderline, like he needs a push a button for some help getting up and down the floor. Nikola Jokic was smoking him up and down the floor. Nikola Jokic is slow. Yeah. He is slow and was dusting him up and down the floor. Okay. The second note, tell me how many times Anthony Davis sets a legitimate screen, like whenever he not a slip, not a push, but an actual screen. And number 3, if he ever gets a dunk off today, how many back grabs does he have tonight? Let's take some stats on that.
I just don't think he plays.
Yeah, I agree. We all agree here. We're going to take the Timberwolves. We're going to hit the Lakers really hard next week for our NBA pods.
Good. I got so much on my chest.
Be sure to stay tuned for that.
I think D'Lo has a big game.
8:30, the Chicago Bulls travel to the San Antonio Spurs. Give me the Bulls. I think the Spurs are chippy, but I think talent-wise, it's obvious the Bulls have it, and I think it takes them over the edge tonight.
Close game. Bulls win.
I like Chicago as well.
9:00, revenge game, ? The Nuggets take on the Jazz. The Nuggets are hosting the Jazz here. Jazz 4-1. Really love what I've seen out of Lauri Markkanen. Don't really care about anything else I've seen from that team. Nikola Jokic, it makes the game look easy. I think this is a revenge. He needs to prove a point like, okay, cool, you guys got the first win of the year. It's bigger for you than it was for us, but we're the best team. I'm the best player. Give me the Nuggets out on top.
Brett, are you gonna protect your baby in the Jazz?
I love Larry Bird, but I'm gonna go Denver here. I think Nikola Jokic is having another MVP year.
Nuggets by 20+.
10:00. This is going to be a great game, in my opinion. Pelicans take on the Suns on ESPN. Troy, who do you have?
I was very skeptical of the Suns coming into the year, and rightfully so. But they have absolutely just been balling. They play so well together. It seems like they put all the drama from the offseason in the rear view mirror and gotten busy, gotten to work. A lot of love to D-Book. I don't show a lot of love to D-Book. Not a big fan of D-Book, but he has been a dude. And you guys were singing his praises. I think it might have been Caleb on day 1 of this, singing his praises. He looks great. He's done great. Suns win.
Fred?
Shouts out Chris Paul. Still averaging over 10 assists every year, it seems. Looks like he's doing just enough at his age. I don't think he has, of course, that extra step like he used to, but I think he's doing just enough to where they can still be a legitimate playoff contender. So I'm going to go Suns as well. I do like New Orleans, though.
I'm going to take the Pelicans. I think that even without Brandon Ingram tonight, is Zion out? Is he playing?
Yeah, he's still out, I think.
Either way, they got a lot of bodies they can throw at Devin Booker, and how Jose Alvarado is going to get up in Chris Paul's junk, just like we saw in the playoffs last year. So give me the Pelicans. Last game of the night, 1-4 Rockets, 4-1 Trailblazers. No Damian Lillard tonight. So this is going to be a very interesting game, in my opinion, for probably all the wrong reasons. Give me the Rockets, actually. You know what? I was higher on the Rockets than a lot of people. I was willing to accept that it was going to be ugly this year, but I think that they have some exciting moments. So give me the Rockets. Fred, where are you going?
I also like Houston here. Damian Lillard being hurt, that's really gonna put a halt to their hot start, I think, and I think the Rockets get a nice little win here.
Troy?
Yeah, big Anthony Simons game, but the Rockets, they're winning.
Yes, sir. There you have it. Another great night in the NBA right before the Halloween festivities take off. Stay tuned in. We will be going live, or we will be posting videos Saturday and Sunday as well. And then Monday it's Halloween. Who knows? Maybe one of us shows up in a costume.
Spooky.
We'll see how it goes. But like I said, you know, a great night in the NBA. Be sure to comment. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe. Tell some friends down below. Let's see who. Let's have a debate. Could you and two friends beat us three in a game on three on three? Because I doubt it. Nonetheless, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you around. Have a great night.